We are available for anyone who has something to share to come in and teach that to others, be it how to start your own podcast or tapestry weaving or how to use Google Analytics or improv or watercolor or calligraphy, any number of things. We're not limited to topics. If someone has something to share and folks want to learn about it, then we are interested in working with you on making that happen.
Welcome to Rochester Business Connections, powered by BALBERT Marketing, LLC, where I get the chance to chat with Rochester, New York's very best business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders. I am your host, Ben Albert. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, we don't do advertisements. My fee for this show is simple. If you gain value from the episode, personally share with a friend and explain your favorite part. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to Rochester Business Connections. I am here with Danielle Raymo. Danielle, how are we today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me be here today.
I'm excited. You know, we've been talking about doing this for a while. It's perfect timing because ultimately you are the owner of the Rochester Brainery, a place where I'm humbled to be teaching a course at the end of the month, July 28th. What did I call it? 5 reasons to start your podcast today and how to do it. It's the 28th. It's at night. It's on Zoom, so you can do it anywhere. But this isn't about me. I just wanted to mention that because I'm humbled to be, utilizing the Brainery, utilizing your space. And you're the owner of the Rochester Brainery.
I am.
For people that are still under that rock, what is the Rochester Brainery? What do you guys do there?
So we are a community classroom and event space. And what that means in terms of a community classroom is that we are available for anyone who has something to share to come in and teach that to others, be it how to start your own podcast or tapestry weaving or how to use Google Analytics or improv or watercolor or calligraphy, any number of things. We're not limited to topics. If someone has something to share and folks want to learn about it, then we are interested in working with you on making that happen. We can do that in person at our space. We can do that at one of our offsite locations that we work with, or we can do that online. So we have a lot of different avenues in which we help people kind of get their classes out to the Rochester community and beyond, because we are online as well. And in terms of an event space, we rent our space 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And so during the week, that might look like a business meeting. It might be a bridal shower, baby shower, birthday party. We had a graduation party not long ago here on the weekends. Weeknights, someone might want to rent our space for a networking event. So we really do a little bit of everything as long as we can accommodate it. We do all kinds of events.
That's amazing. And there's two kind of conversations I want to have about this because it is, AdWords to calligraphy, everything under the sun. So there's almost two things that come to mind. There's the casual person that wants to attend an event because they're interested in different topics and they want to learn. And there's, which many of my listeners are, business people or entrepreneurs that are super strong at their industry and they're experts and they might want to contribute and teach a class or host an event. So let's start with the ordinary person that's in all of us. We're listening to this podcast because we're interested in the community. We like to learn. We want to learn about different business people, different things. What's the process? I mean, do I just go to the website and search? Well, what should I do first?
Yeah, if you're looking to learn, you can go to our website and you'll see where it says take a class. We have a variety of ways that you can search by class topic, by location, by age group, because we do have some classes for our younger Rochesterians and beyond, because we have online classes as well. So you can search by age. And for anyone who's looking to teach a class, really you can see what else we have going on that might be similar to a topic that you're interested in teaching about. We might not have anything on the calendar like that. So it's really a good tool for both people who want to take our classes and people who are interested in teaching a class, right? The reading a description gives you a little bit of an idea of what we're looking for in terms of that, what kind of content we're looking for, the length of the class, the different questions that you might have, about that. It's a good resource for that as well.
Yeah, I want to move into teaching a class in a
Yeah.
moment, but the first thing I want to kind of bring up is I took a detoxing class at the Brainery,
Mhm.
and it was perfect timing. I didn't time it, but it just worked out perfectly this way that I was driving back from Myrtle Beach during the
Mhm.
class. So I called in, you can do it from the courtesy of your, it's better to be on camera, right? But I was able to do it from the courtesy of my car and listen to a presentation on detoxing, which is exactly what I needed in my life after drinking daiquiris and getting sunburned for 6 days.
Yeah.
So did a week long detox that was beneficial for me. And I think I noticed you were kind of like a fly on the wall in the class.
Yeah.
Do you attend like multiple classes a week? Do you get to attend like all of these?
Yeah, it's actually that's been really an interesting shift during the pandemic because we weren't doing any online classes prior to March of 2020. And so there were opportunities for us to be in the room. And certainly the first time we run a class, we did always try to have someone, just make sure everything was running smoothly, to be able to offer feedback from our perspective, different things like that. But we haven't had as much of an opportunity as when we were online because we always have a team member, myself or one of our other team members in the class. And so we're always listening to the class and making sure things run well. We're there for technical support. And so we kind of need to be there just in case anything happens. We've had computers die. We've had audio cut out. I mean, all kinds of stuff. We've ended up needing to run presentations. Anything can happen when you're online, right? Like tech, it's just mind of its own.
Yeah.
So being online has given us a really unique opportunity to actually attend pretty much every class, not necessarily participate because we might not have all the supplies in front of us for those arts and crafts classes. But cooking classes, cooking along, doing things like that. It was nice to be able to do that, and we'll continue to do that because we're going to keep doing online and in person.
Yeah, and it leads into my next question. I know personally I liked the detoxing class, learning AdWords, learning marketing, anything in that realm is perfect for me. What about Danielle? Personally, out of all these classes that you've sat in, have any stood out to you as like just incredible ones that really left an impression?
Well, for me, I mean, I really love all the historical topics. That's kind of always my thing. If I'm looking to go on vacation, I'm like, what can we tour? Like, what old houses can we see? And so for me, we work with the young urban preservationists in the Landmark Society quite a bit. And they teach classes, everything from walking tours in different neighborhoods in Rochester to the rocks that built Rochester and different, lecture style classes that, we've been able to do online and in person as well. I always love those classes. Another kind of one of the people that works with young urban preservationist, Tyler Lucero, he also does more geology focused classes, but also very much history and science. And those are really cool too. We get out to Mendon Ponds Park and we go for a hike. And while we're doing the hike, he's teaching us about how things formed and the names of things that you'll see. And I think that is just really, really interesting. The craft classes are always so fun because people always do, I think, a better job than they think that they're going to do. And so I think people leave those classes really proud and surprised at what they're able to
Yeah.
accomplish. So that as a business owner brings me a good feeling. I'm like, yeah, this is great. We're doing this fun stuff. But yeah, for me personally, for taking the classes and stuff, man, I just love any of the historical, kinds of classes. Those are my jam there.
Yeah, yeah, no, that would be my jam too. It sounds like a ton
uh,
of fun. I know personally, I'm the guy who I like hiking. I'll be the first
mhm.
to admit though, I'm just like, oh, that's pretty, but I don't understand the history or the
Same.
horticulture or anything behind it.
Yeah.
So that sounds incredibly fascinating.
Yeah.
So let's move into where a lot of people are. They're business owners, they're business people, they're industry experts. You mentioned that you can go to the website and kind of get a gist, but what are
Mhm.
some of the requirements? I mean, obviously, you don't want anyone under the sun to come in and teach a class. It's your
Right.
reputation. Is there
Yeah.
a certain kind of topic, business? Is there a specific thing you look for? Or is it a personality type? Or how do I know that I'm a good fit to teach a class?
I think it's a little bit of both. We always do an interview, and we do it over Zoom. We were doing them in person, have been doing them over Zoom. I think that we have to be able to have a conversation, right? So in the interview process, if we have a really great conversation, if you'd like to teach something like how to crochet, you don't need a degree in how to crochet, but we'd love to see some examples. I'd love to have a conversation with you and have you explain it to me and have me generally understand what you mean, right?
Yeah.
So it really depends. If you are teaching something like something nutrition based or physical fitness or something like that, then yeah, we do want to see that kind of qualification. We want to make sure that you are telling accurate information based on science and research and everything like that, and not just personal experience, because of course it's different for everybody. So in a lot of our classes, you'll hear our teachers start off the class by saying like, this may not work, like just kind of giving a general thing that it's a little bit different for everyone, right? When it comes to nutrition and physical fitness and things like that, someone might have a bad back, they might not be able to do stuff, different things like that. So anyway, we do want to make sure that those kinds of classes, folks who are teaching those, do have that kind of background. But calligraphy, different things like that, we have a lot of teachers who are amazing and more self-taught, and they have taken a lot of classes themselves, but they again don't have like a specific art degree. So it really depends in terms of marketing and classes like that. Of course, we always ask for a resume. So whenever someone applies, we ask for that resume, we look at the resume, and that goes into part of, are we going to reach out to kind of set up a little interview? And they're not an intense interview. We talked about it. They're pretty light and breezy and easy, if you will. We want it to be a fun place. We want to make sure that, it doesn't need to be a serious conversation. We want to have fun, and we want our students to have fun. And if we can be fun in that kind of conversation, we hope that you can help students have a little bit of fun in class too, right? So it's not an intense process, but we do like to see credentials and things like that, prior to the conversation, and then allow that teacher to elaborate and talk about their class and how they think they'll present it in the interview itself.
Yeah, I mean, to be a testimonial for you, I don't even know if we did an interview. I feel like we just chatted about stuff.
True. Yeah.
And I say
Which
that
is kind
only
of what it is. It's a conversation.
and I only say that because obviously the qualifications is you want to be a rock star at what you do. You need to be willing to go online and fill out a form that's not going to take you very long.
Right.
And then it's a casual interview, and you get to kind of be an expert and pretty much is there certain things I need to present in my class? It's pretty much up to me, right? I don't have the curriculum completely done yet. So
yeah, and that's fine. A lot of times, folks will come to us with an idea that they have and a general outline of how they think the class would go. But the content is specifically up to the teacher, whether they want it to be hands-on or lecture style. I mean, obviously, some of those things need to be decided upon before we put your class on the website, right? Because we want to have those details. We want students to have an accurate picture of the class that they're signing up for. So some of those details, are kind of determined prior to the class. But something like marketing, we book our classes 4 or 5 months in advance. You could be teaching a class on social media, and in that time, to use Instagram could completely change in that 4 to 5 months. So for some of our, is something like crochet, it probably isn't going to change. But, there's certain classes that, will evolve, since the time of booking. But we generally want the description to remain the same. So students sign up 2 months before or a month before, they know what they're in for. But yeah, we just really want to hear a little bit about what the class is. We leave the teaching up to the teachers. We handle the rest, is kind of what we say, because the teaching is a lot of work in and of itself. So we leave that to you. We handle marketing, making sure the space is set up for you, comfortable, customer service, all that anything else related to the class, we take care of that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for any educator, budding educator who wants to teach a class. I know mine's going to be on Zoom, but I'm excited that now things are in person again, which opens up a whole new realm. It's back to normal for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, going way beyond back to normal, when you first started the Brainery, we didn't really talk about the history or the inception or the reason you started it yet. Like, how long ago did you start the Rochester Brainery? Where did the idea
Yeah.
come from? What did it look like? Be as thorough as you want. I have time. I'm curious.
Yeah. We opened in March of 2013. At the time, I was living in Brooklyn and inspired by a business down there. And I was kind of going through a period of time where I, was working a full-time job, and then I was laid off, and then I was kind of hired. There was just a lot, going on at that time job-wise. And I was also living in New York City, but originally from Rochester. And being so close, I was able to visit. We probably came back, I want to say, once a month to visit, and things were starting to really happen in Rochester. And so I was like, should I apply for jobs in Rochester? Should I do my own thing? It was, and then I had a friend who said, well, we should start this together. So anyway, I had originally started the business with a friend of mine, and I kind of decided at that point, okay, I'm going to move back to Rochester. I think that this really cool thing happening here would work really well in Rochester, and we kind of went with that. So it was a little bit somewhat out of necessity, I guess, in creating my own job, but also I thought that it would be really cool, be a really good opportunity to get back to Rochester, to do something really cool in Rochester. All these small businesses were opening at the time. I feel like there was so much going on. I mean, there still are a lot of businesses opening every day, right? But it felt like at the time there was so much energy, so many people who wanted to open new businesses with things to share, and we just wanted to be the space for that and to help promote them. Because prior to Rochester Brainery, I was working in events and promotions. I was brand development specialist for a business. And I was doing, and even prior to that, I did events for a radio station. I was a DJ and did events in promotion. So I have always worked in events in some way, shape, or form, whether it was at a bar for a radio station or sampling juice at a grocery store. So I've kind of always done that, and I've always done so many events every single week. So this is a little bit of the same thing that I've always done, except it's promoting people's classes. And what I really like about that is that kind of over my years, I found that what I really loved most was helping small businesses and making that impact for small businesses. And so, and individuals too, right? Like, when I lived in New York, I felt that it was a little bit difficult for me to make friends. Everyone's so busy, they're working. I was actually working from home most of the time. So I wasn't in an office where I was meeting people. I was involved in the theater community, so I did meet people through that. But I just thought that something like this is such an opportunity for people to come in and do something, and you have a common interest automatically, right? If you're both there for a macrame class, there's a common interest. So it was an interesting place to be able to meet new people, make new friends, but also give, new businesses and individuals the opportunity to promote themselves. Maybe have an alternative thing to do aside from going to a bar, although we do classes at bars too, but just kind of giving people all the options, and being able to go to one place and find all those options, I think was really important too. That was a long answer, but I opened it for a lot of reasons.
It's
and
perfect.
and so Rochester Brainery was kind of everything that I was looking for personally and professionally, just kind of smushed together.
Well, I mean, I look at the idea and I'm like, it's brilliant because you've got moving parts here. But if you look at, investing in oneself, which I
Mm.
believe everyone should be doing all the time, you're investing in knowledge or you're investing in self care. So if
Mm.
you're investing in knowledge, okay, let's learn a new skill. Let's learn a new trade. Let's sharpen the saw and get better at what I already do well. Or self care, maybe you just want to do an art class or a dance class. You want to go hiking. And then at the same time, you're helping local businesses. It's a brilliant concept on paper. It's genius. And I believe kind of guaranteed to work. But I'm wondering, was there ever like any struggles? Like, was there a tipping point where it went from, okay, this is a good idea to, wow, this is actually coming to fruition? Or even a tipping point in the other direction where you're like, oh my God, I don't know why I made this decision. Like, any like landmark moments in this like 8+ year history you have now?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few. Owning a business is very up and down, but about 3 months into owning the business, we almost just had to close. because at the time we opened in March of 2013, and about 3 months in was around June-ish, right? And so we did not know at the time, being our first year, that summer was our super slow season. Summer is always slow. Summers have gotten better now that people know who we are. Some people know who we are. We still have work to do there, but it was extremely slow. And we thought, okay, people just they're not interested in this. But we were able to kind of hang on, and things picked up in the fall. And we actually started doing a craft show the second Saturday of every month in an effort to bring people in and kind of just get to know the space and make some additional connections with local artists and businesses. And that really helped. So we really tried to do that. And so that really helped us hang on until the fall and the winter, which is our busy season.
Yeah.
And we kind of said, okay, we're starting to see this, kind of pattern here. So that was really helpful. And then the other thing too was, class registration was always slow. So over time, we kind of had to see, how many classes should we book? How many people need to be in each class to make this work? We made predictions in the beginning, but some of those predictions were correct and some of them were not. And so we really had a lot of learning to do. And also we're starting to get like space rental requests, which wasn't exactly, we thought we might rent the space occasionally for a team building workshop or something like that. But we really weren't focused on daytime stuff. I was working, and my business partner at the time, we were both working full time. So I worked full time for the first 3 years of the business. And then when things really started to shift and we got a lot more of those requests, we were getting more bridal shower, baby shower requests, small weddings, different things like that. I said, okay, this could be a really great revenue stream to help us support our classes, because we didn't want to raise the cost of our classes. We haven't really raised our pricing too much at all over the course of the 8.5 years. Here and there, as our class prices have gone up, we've had to adjust to make sure we cover credit card fees and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was a big shift for us. As we started to get more of those requests, as we started to get feedback on our space, we actually moved spaces. We moved to a larger space that could better accommodate these 50-person events that there seemed to be, at least at the time, like a bit of a hole in Rochester of venues that could accommodate that. So we really have shifted and learned and grown over the course of the past 8.5 years because of our customers, our students and our teachers and the people who want to rent our space. So that was huge. We moved spaces in June of 2016. And then, the latest hurdle was the pandemic, which every business went through, but we truly would have not made it through without our awesome teachers and the people who take our classes. We really wouldn't have. So there's been a few big things.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the pandemic. I know it's been long enough that most people have had the ability to compartmentalize some things, but it's still very stressful. I'm sure you had in-person classes booked for, a few months out.
Yeah.
What happened? How did you transition to Zoom? How did you pivot so quickly? And how did you not break your ankle trying to pivot as quick as you had to?
I did, but no one saw me in person. So, but no, it was very stressful, but I am very lucky to have an amazing team. Our class coordinator, Abby, had just started 2 weeks prior to the pandemic or something like that. And she's just incredible and cannot thank her enough for helping us get everything pivoted and online, and the rest of our team too, that was working with us. Truly amazing. We all just kind of split things up and said, okay, let's see what we can bring online. Let's see who's comfortable doing stuff online. At the time, kind of everyone was starting to say, well, we'll just do stuff online. Our strategy at first was to bring everything on as much online as we could, and then push everything back in person, because at the time everyone was thinking, oh, it'll be a month or two.
Yeah.
Or at first it was like a couple weeks, like maybe 2 weeks, right? And then we're
flatten
like,
the curve, then we're good to go.
6 weeks. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we probably rebooked and rescheduled classes. That was March. So we had classes probably booked through April, May, June, July at that time. And we just kept on shifting classes back, pushing it back a month, pushing it back a month. then after a while, that takes so much time, just an incredible amount of time to do that. After a while, we just decided, you know what, online only. We're not going to book anything in person until we officially get the okay to do it in person. And that's what we did. But it was a lot. It was a lot. Next time, hopefully there's not a next time, but next time we would have a totally different strategy. But we did what we could, right? And what we thought was going to work. I don't know how many people in March, at least in the US, in March of 2020 thought that in March of 2021 we'd be going through the same thing. So, yeah.
Hey, it forced you to refine a little bit to where now you can offer online and in person.
Yeah.
Where I know personally, I signed up for my class, originally when we didn't know where the regulations would be. And it's online, and I'm kind of excited it's online because I want everyone in the nation to show up. I think there's like a 100 person minimum. I want to just try to turn that to 150. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but there's a beauty in that, and there's a beauty that you refined your system where you could offer online in addition to the in-person. But so I don't know if you already answered this. Is things like back to normal in terms of normal class sizes, normal events? What kind of regulations do we have to, work around these days with COVID?
So right now, at least
I shouldn't have said work
State,
around. I just want to correct myself. We're not working around the regulations. We're complying to them.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean, though. In a way, you do need to find ways to make the event work, though, right? With the guidelines. So I get that. So right now, the only guideline in New York State that is still in place is those who are not vaccinated do have to wear a mask still. And then those who are vaccinated are more than welcome to wear a mask if they'd like to as well. But the only thing that the state is requiring is that we follow the CDC guidelines, and the CDC guidelines say if you're not vaccinated, please wear a mask, which is, I believe 11 and under, because over 12 can be vaccinated as well. We need to wear a mask. Under 2, you don't. So it's just following those guidelines. We're not asking at the door. It is on our system. We do have some folks that, still want to wear a mask, and that's totally fine. They're more than welcome to. We did what we could in terms of cleaning. We're still, super cleaning before every class, which we really did before the pandemic anyway. That's really important to me. No one wants to come and learn in a space where they're like, oh, you can't touch the table. Like there's paint on this from yesterday's class. But yeah, so cleaning, we did install like an iWave Air, iWave Air. It's like an air purifier so we tried to do those things that were kind of recommended for businesses to help along the way. And we'll continue to do those things because, hey, if these things also help with flu season and stuff like that, like that's just, anytime you're in a space with a lot of people you don't know, right? Like it's not a bad thing to have those little extra measures sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, the extra measures are good, and it makes you clean, presentable. I mean, what room are you in now? So anyone listening to the audio itself, you've got like this. I'm not artistic enough to describe it properly, but it's very minimalistic, very clean, cool looking room. It seems pretty hip. Are you in your office? Are you in a study room? Where are you?
No, I am in our green room, we call it. We call it the green room because of all of the plants that we have in here. So I can just shift this a little if it's not going to make people seasick. Like we just have a lot of plants in this room on the windowsills and everything like that. So yeah, this is our green room. And then we have a gallery room as well. We do have some artwork, St. Monsi's up here, interspersed in the plants. But in the other room, we have a lot of colorful artwork, all Rochester artists. And the goal for that room is to continue to support Rochester artists by purchasing local artwork kind of every quarter. The intention is to add to that. We started that right before the pandemic. And so we haven't added anything in a while, but the hope is this summer we'll get back to that. And that room will just be a big gallery full of local Rochester art. So we want the rooms to feel like clean, airy, open, green, with lots of greenery, very easy to, if you don't want to decorate for your event much, you don't have to. But also if you do decide to do a lot of decorating, it's not going to clash and look weird. So we really just wanted to create a comfortable space and a multi-purpose space. We've had people have a business meeting for their business in here. have their bridal shower here and take a class here. And the fact that people feel like they can do all of that in the same room, like I love that. So that's the kind of space that we're trying to create, just someplace that people want to be.
Yeah, it's welcoming. I want to see the art room eventually, and the green room's
Yeah.
great. Ideas come to me just out of the blue. I don't know if this will come to fruition, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, especially if you've watched the show a lot, knows that I'm in my green screen room where I've got a big green cloth behind me
Yeah.
because I've got a, spare bedroom, and it's just the way it's set up with the dresser.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the most ideal podcasting room.
Yeah.
Some people don't notice if they're like on a cell phone, but if you put me on the green screen, on a large screen, I feel like you can kind of tell I'm using a green screen. So this
Mm-hmm.
what just came to my mind is, let's say I'm a podcaster, or maybe I'm an influencer, I do videos or anything of the like.
Yeah.
I can borrow the room to do a podcast or film
Yeah.
videos and things like that too, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So I don't have to use the
Yep.
green screen.
Nope, you can use the room. Yeah, we rent our space hourly during the week and on weekends. So it's really, if someone says, and we'll work with folks too if they always want to have the same time block every month. Like I always want to rent Mondays from noon to 3. Great, So we're happy to work with people on whether it's just a one-off thing. We might get a call from a photographer that says, "Hey, it's supposed to rain tomorrow, and I have a shoot outside. Can we move inside?" To, "Hey, we want to rent this space every Monday for 12 Mondays in a row." Right. So we'll work with anyone on whatever they'd like to do and how they'd like to use the space.
I love it. So everything from me maybe showing up and doing a podcast or a video to having a
Yep.
photographer come in, have some professional photos in, a eloquent, minimalistic setting. You guys do everything. Is there anything that you won't do? Is there anything on the list that just no, not going to happen? I mean, I presume things like KKK rallies, but
Yeah. I mean, within reason, we'll host any event. Yeah. Yes, any event that is community focused, and no, but we want to, just be an accessible space for folks. Gosh, we've had, we do a fair amount of birthday parties and things like that. We've done like a lot of first birthday parties. We've done 16th birthday parties. We've incorporated classes, which is really fun, into those, things that we aren't able to do. Someone, I think, wanted to bring in like a big bounce house one time. That wasn't something we were able to do. We have concrete floors and stuff, so some dance or yoga and stuff might not be appropriate.
yeah.
But for we do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we rent the space between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. So typically anything that would be going late night, we usually don't do. But if folks wanted like cocktails or beer and wine at their event, we have caterers that can come in and get a temporary license and things like that. And we don't have a liquor license ourselves, so things like that can be done. Sometimes it can be, you can bring in your own food from Wegmans, but if you want alcohol, that might be a little bit of an extra step. But yeah, most any event.
Fair enough. As I was asking that question, I'm like, oh my God, obviously there's certain things that you won't do, but I think it's important to highlight the fact that if you're community driven, if you're business driven, if you're an expert at something, if you want to come in and utilize the space, even if for something small, the space is available. And obviously, hundreds, thousands, are you in the thousands yet of classes? And what's the number? Do you keep track?
Yeah. I mean, I did keep track. I don't have the new number of different kinds of classes. I mean, we run typically anywhere between 60 and 90 classes a month. Not all of those are brand new classes. Some of them are repeat classes. So I have to do the new math on how many, single classes we've had as opposed to the ones that repeat. But at last count, I want to say it was something like 2,300 different, kinds of classes. Some folks just come in and teach once. Some folks want to come in and teach once a month. So it's, it's really, really different every time. And that number might include repeats, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well,
and it's a lot of different folks too.
I only asked that the number means nothing to me. It's a ton. That's the most important thing. But I wanted to ask, out of, thousands, 2,000-3,000 people that have came in and taught a class, like, what have you learned about the Rochester community? I mean, obviously you moved to southern end of New York, big city life, and then you moved back to Rochester. What have you learned about small businesses or culture? Anything that you just genuinely love about Rochester that you've learned about or got to appreciate owning the Brainery?
Yeah. I think for me, it's just how collaborative Rochester businesses can be and how supportive. Um, Generally, everyone is looking to see how they can kind of help each other, promote each other, especially at Rochester Brainery. I feel like a lot of businesses who are looking to work with each other, just we end up working with, right? They see an opportunity for collaboration, and we want to promote a culture of collaboration and working together and lifting each other up by sharing each other's businesses and what we do. And it's just been a very collaborative thing, which I really love. And so I found those businesses are just really, really in it to help each other, right? The more we can promote each other's businesses, the better. The more interesting Rochester is, and people find new things, and I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in it to help each other, collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
experience new things. I love all these things. Danielle, we're going to do like three-parter probably in the long
Okay.
term because we could dive deeper into specific classes and this and that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I might want to have you on just to like vent and give a recap of how my class goes, good or bad. We'll see.
Sure.
If anyone, I think people should show up to see because ultimately it's a podcasting class, and I don't claim to be the upmost expert in the world, but I started this as a side gig 5 years ago, and it came to fruition that I'm teaching at schools, and it's ultimately making money for my business, which blows my mind. And I'm going to take all that I learned, those secrets, and talk about them in a 2-hour session. I wanted to book like as long as possible because I wanted to give people an opportunity to do Q&A and network and things like that. I presume we can do breakout rooms and everything, right? It can be completely interactive.
Yeah, absolutely. Breakout rooms, questions, all the features that Zoom offers, you're welcome to use. And we love working with teachers on, if we're always happy to pass along what we've learned from previous classes, what things have worked, what maybe hasn't, what students are looking for. And then following every class, not only will you get our feedback, but you'll also get students' feedback. So we always send out, especially for brand new classes that we've been running for 5 years that we have once a month. We know they're pretty much good to go, right?
Yeah.
But especially for brand new classes, we do always send out a feedback form and provide that teacher with that feedback from students. So we can say, hey, this is something we should bring back, but we're thinking that maybe making a few of these suggestions might be beneficial. So we always provide teachers with that. So ultimately, we can all continue to make our classes better.
I love it. It gives me peace of mind. We'll get feedback.
Yep.
I'm excited. Everybody should attend my class, but more than that, if you haven't already yet, like if you're listening in a car, which generally is where I listen to podcasts, I wouldn't necessarily get in an accident, but really what you should do is pull up the Brainery website. You can do it while we're talking right now. Scroll through the classes, sign up for one. They're like $10, $15, $20, most of them. They're affordable. You get to invest in yourself, learn new things. Or you could teach a class. We've talked about that. I want to move into the rapid fire round though, because I want to make sure I don't forget it. And the rapid fire rounds are really just like short, sweet, either or fill in the blank questions to get to know Danielle a little bit better. And this is going through my head right now because Kelly Wright mentioned this like a few episodes back that it's almost like being on Family Feud. And I'm thinking this literally came to my mind mid-conversation as I'm talking here. It's almost like a Family Feud mixed with Whose Line Is It Anyway? So the points don't matter. There's no keeping track of the points. They don't matter, but they're short, sweet questions, again, to get to know Danielle a little bit better.
And we have improv classes, so I should be good at this now.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, but I also like tea.
Beer, wine, or fill in the blank?
Like a dry and herby, like bourbon cocktail.
Ooh, what about cats, dogs, or fill in the blank?
Dogs.
Favorite time of year?
Fall.
Fall, mornings or evenings?
Mornings.
Online shopping or in-person shopping?
In-person shopping.
So social media platforms, where should we follow you? What excites you most? Where do you hang out the most? Where can we become your friend? What's the best ones?
Yeah, so for Rochester Brainery, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Facebook, we're posting about our events constantly. Instagram is a little bit more interactive, a little bit more behind the scenes. And Twitter, we talk about a little bit of everything, but we really try and share different stuff from the community on there. So I think no matter what platform you're following us on, you'll get a little something different out of it. But yeah.
So my class is July 28th. Other than my class, for July, August, September in the pipeline, any classes that just come to mind that you're excited about as well, other than all of them?
Yeah, all of them. They're all my babies. I can't pick one. So for me, this time of year is really great because we have so many outdoor classes. The walking tours are awesome. We have some flower farm tours that are coming up. Those are more in September, but we have just so many great outdoor classes coming up. And so if you're looking to learn, but you don't necessarily want to be inside, you want to be taking advantage, especially in Rochester, we have just like a short window of nice weather. This is a really great way to be able to do both. So I think that that's great. We have some classes outside at the Hideaway. We're also down at Arbor at the port in Charlotte Beach area. Now those are inside, but come to a class, get an ice cream, take a walk on the pier, make a whole night of it. So I think that there's just some really fun stuff there too. And hey, we have air conditioning. So if you're just looking for a space to cool off, take a class inside.
It's rochesterbrainery.com.
Yes.
Perfect. And what else? I mean, obviously, I'm just one person. Any frequently asked questions that I wasn't informed to ask you that maybe someone else is curious about?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the most important thing to know right now is that we are back open. We are renting our space. We would love to work with you on that, whether especially for businesses who maybe have decided that they're going to stay online, like people are going to work from home rather than come into the office. Maybe they've gotten rid of their office space. You can rent our space if you want to bring the team together quarterly for a team building day, for people to see each other, for a meeting, anything like that. We can certainly help with that. And then, yeah, we are back in person for classes too. So if you're just looking to go out and do something with a friend you haven't seen in a year and a half, well, you might want to talk, if you haven't seen each other in that long. But if you're looking to go and do something together, we'd love to have you come for a class. Man, we get so many new folks who are people who are new to Rochester. And what's so nice is we hear a lot, it was recommended for me to come here to kind of, meet some people in Rochester and experience something. We love that. So, come on down, join us for anything. We've got a lot going on.
And you've got air conditioning too. So that's another plus.
Air conditioning too.
Danielle, as expected, this has been a ton of fun. We'll have you back. We might do a part 2 again, kind of like a recap when I teach this class. I'm nervous because I've never done this specific kind of thing before. But the Brainery link, my link to the class, everything's going to be in the show notes. And it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Rochester Business Connections. Don't forget to share this, rate, and comment on your favorite platform. You can also email me, ben@balbertmarketing.com. Let's connect soon. Until then, keep thriving, everyone.